Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to Upkick MMA episode 276. I am Brendan. All right, PFL number 4 from 2023. We're going to be taking care of the early fights from this card, right? So if you're looking for the main card, that's going to be in the last video. This one's going to be Marlon Moraes versus Gabriel Braga and the rest of the early fights. We're going to break them all down here and then go over the brackets of the light heavyweights. All right, real quick, before we do that, before we get started, I would appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel. It means a lot to me. It also would let you know the next video is coming out, so it helps you out too if you like this kind of stuff. All right, let's get going. Gabriel Braga, oh boy, he didn't need the win here or need the finish in the first round here, but he sure did it. Braga was taking the inside, keeping Marlon towards the warning track. Moraes, also, if you're looking for a specific fight breakdown, the timestamps are down below. So Braga was taking the inside, keeping Marlon towards the warning track, and then Moraes was landing the left hook counter hard as Braga landed some low kicks. But Braga was doing a good job keeping his distance, entering, staying safe. And then high kick from Moraes stunned Braga for a couple seconds there. And then there was a 1-2 from Braga that staggered him. And then he landed a right hand straight down the pipe, and Moraes went down, and that was it for Moraes. I think this is, let's see, is the one. It's a bad shot of it, but that was a leg kick that did it. Left hand, pop, right there and down. That right hand just right down the pipe. Set it up with that left hook, and that right hand put him straight down. So Marlon Moraes is retiring officially, so he's retiring from MMA. He's had an amazing career. We don't have to go over it all here, but I think it works. It's worth looking into because he's done enough to earn a little bit of time going over his history. Now, granted, looking at his recent history, it looks real bad with 7 losses in a row. But look who they're to. Corey Sandhagen, a perennial title contender for the past couple years. Rob Font, again, right at the upper level. Merab Dvalishvili, again, number 2 in the world in that division right now. Song Yadong, challenging for number 2. Some of the best in the world. Shayman Moraes, that's a rematch from much earlier in their career. He was winning this entire fight, and then he got caught in the last round, so that unfortunate for him. A loss of Brendan Loughnane, that's not a bad loss. Obviously, he's the PFL champion from last year, and then Gabriel Braga, who is going to fight in the playoffs in the PFL this year. So ending his career on 7 straight losses isn't exactly the best way to go out, but it's kind of the way it goes in MMA. I mean, look at his early career. He was almost unstoppable for a long time. His real reign came in World Series of Fighting. So Miguel Torres, that's a great win, right? Tyson Nam, great win. Brandon Hampelman, that's whatever. Carson Beebe, Josh Reddinghouse, okay. Cody Bollinger, nothing. Josh Hill, nothing. Shayman Moraes, that's a great win back at World Series of Fighting 22. Bras, Josh Hill, Joseph Silva. Again, World Series of Fighting mainstay for the longest time. Then he comes into the UFC. Amazing record. Comes into the UFC, fights Rafael Assunção at that time, again, looking to fight for the title, and gets a controversial split decision loss in a fight that I scored for him. Fights John Dodson, gets a split decision win, knocks out Aljamain Sterling, who's the current champion. Jimmy Rivera, a mainstay, knocks him out, gets the finish over Rafael Assunção in a rematch, and then nearly finishes Henry Cejudo in the first round, but then gets finished himself, and then comes back and gets a split decision win against Jose Aldo, one of the best, if not the best at all time. So, yeah, he lost 7 in a row to end his career, but the dude beat the who's who. He beat the current champion, the former champion. He's beaten some of the best in the world, and yeah, he's lost to Henry Cejudo, and yeah, he lost to Corey Sandhagen, but come on now. The guy's had one of the best careers, and I wish him nothing but the best. He said, he's been doing this for, what did he say, 27 years? A long time, right? He's been fighting essentially since he was 9 years old. So good on him. I'm glad he retired now. I think, his body's kind of had it, and I wish him nothing but the best. He's had a great career. All right, Dan Spohn versus Ty Flores. This is a skipper. It is a skipper. Sorry, guys. It just is. I don't mean to downplay your abilities or anything. If you guys happen to watch, like they're going to watch this. I've always liked Dan Spohn. I remember when he was on The Ultimate Fighter, and I thought he had some really good skills, and he was a relatively raw talent back then, but he just hasn't improved his takedown defense. And I know he stepped up on short notice here, and his cardio seemed to be an issue. But he gave Flores a real run for his money in that last round. So in the first round, Spohn used his low kicks to keep distance, but Flores moved forward, working in on the clinch, gets a takedown. Flores controlled him for the whole round, did way more damage, all that, the whole round, 10-9, easy. Spohn got taken down immediately in the second round. This second round could have been a 10-8 in my opinion because Spohn did nothing, but regardless, it's another round for Flores. Last round here, Spohn was unloading, landing an ungodly amount of shots, but he didn't really do much. He didn't get the finish because he kept driving in, and then when he got taken down, and then that was the end of it. Flores might win the last round. I just didn't give it to him. I had it 29-27 in favor of Flores because I gave him that second round at 10-8. Because, like I said, Spohn did nothing. And again, this isn't on Spohn. I don't think he's a horrible fighter or anything. It's just he has a clear weakness, and everybody takes advantage of it. Everybody does. I knew going into this fight exactly how it would turn out, more likely than not, and that's how it happened. All right, Chris Wade taking on Ryoji Kudo. Great fight for Chris Wade. Kudo, it hits hard, and Chris Wade mentioned it afterwards. Everything felt like he was getting hit by a baseball bat. I don't remember exactly his words, but he said he hits hard. Wade was right in on the clinch. Wade moving in with combos. Kudo landed a right hand. It staggered Wade a little bit. Wade stayed in on the takedown attempt. Wade with nonstop pressure. Kudo stopped the takedown for a little while, but he just kept going. And then Kudo landed a knee in the clinch, but it wasn't enough. Wade snatched up a high elbow guillotine, and it was all over. He put him to sleep. Fantastic finish for Chris Wade, getting the 6 points. It's unfortunate, though, because, this was so tight, the way he had that in, and he put him to sleep with it, too. It's unfortunate that that's how it went down because what the heck? Oh, because Wade, or not this fight, but he gets the win, but he's not in the playoffs because somebody got a faster finish in the first round. So unfortunate for him. A great win though. Great way to end the season. I look forward to seeing him next year. I think he's improved. Impa Kasanganay taking on Tim Caron. I think that's how they pronounce it. Or Caron. I'm pretty sure it's Caron. Impa was moving in and pressuring fast. Let's see here. Impa was using 1-2 like the 1-2-3 combo. He used it multiple times. He was chasing Caron around the cage. Impa got the body lock takedown. This first round wasn't a 10-8 necessarily, but it definitely was his round. All right, he was the only one doing anything here. 34 strikes landed total. I wish they would break this down round by round. I mean, the smart cage gave it to him 67-3. But I easily had a 10-9. Impa was right on top in the second round. And then Impa was dominating on the ground, and then he was able to get the arm triangle finish. It was beautiful groundwork. So Impa Kasanganay, he's much improved. I think he looks better and better every time he's out there, especially if he can keep his cardio up and get these finishes like this. It's going to be an issue for anybody who goes up against him in the PFL. So I'm excited to see him in the playoffs and seeing what he can do going forward even next year. All right, let's see. Taylor Johnson versus Andrew Sanchez. This one's a little weird. So Sanchez was staying light on his feet, looking for the counters. Normally his cardio is the thing that gives out on him, and he's always labored. But he looked really good in the first round, as usual. He just wasn't going for takedowns like he usually does, which is I thought was going to hold his cardio was going to hold up a little bit better. Johnson was forcing his way into the clinch, and then Sanchez was holding him back with the jab, and then he pushed he ended up pushing him into the cage with the clinch. So Sanchez got the takedown with 90 seconds left. Johnson gets up and reverses it and throws a knee to Sanchez when Sanchez is still on the ground. So it's a knee to the head of a grounded opponent. Not cool, not great here. You can see it. So he gets up and he tries to reverse it here. He does. He hits the switch, and then he's still down on the ground, and then a knee right to the head. Now, I gave this round to Sanchez, and that's a 10-8 round because he got a point deduction. We'll keep going forward here. Sanchez went for the double, and right into the second round, they ended up getting right back up. Johnson gets up, starts pushing forward, and he's landing knees to the body, some left hooks. He's landing a lot of shots here. Second round, if you look at the stats, if you go back and watch that round, it was clearly Johnson. He landed more in that round. So I had it 19-18 in favor of Sanchez, obviously still because of that 10-8 round, keeping him ahead. Sanchez with the takedown and then right back up in this last round, keeping the pressure on Johnson. Johnson pushing him in to the fence. They clinch, but it gets reversed. Sanchez has a body lock. Johnson landed a couple shots before falling into the clinch again, and this last round was hard to score because of that final clinch scenario, because Sanchez controlled a lot of it, and he landed a little bit of damage himself. Now, the smart cage only gave it 38-24 in favor of Johnson, but I actually gave Sanchez this last round. I felt like he did enough, but if it gave it a draw, I'd be okay. If you had a 28-28, that is acceptable, no problem with that. This last round, though, I did give it to Sanchez. Now, one of the two things here, real quick, I just want to touch on before we move to the next fight. One of the judges had it 29-27 for Taylor Johnson. I don't get it. That means they gave him all 3 rounds. So not only did they give him the last round, which I could see, that's fine, they gave him the first round as well. He lost that round, hands down. There's nothing he did in that round, unless you counted the knee, that was illegal, right? So, does it? Are we really going to count that? And then another thing that I do want to talk about here, real quick. So let's go into the standings, and let's look at the light heavyweights here. So Joshua Silveira, with the finish on the main card, he's the number 1 seed. Right, he's going to be taking on Ty Flores. I covered the bracket a little bit, and I also covered the bracket of the featherweights in the last video if you want to go check that out. And then Martin Hamlet's taking on Impa Kasanganay. So look at this. Ty Flores and Impa Kasanganay both got in with 5 points. If Andrew Sanchez took the DQ finish, which is what it should have been, would have been had he not been able to continue in that first round, that's 6 points for Sanchez. He's in the playoffs if he just says, I don't want to keep fighting. Now, there's a whole different discussion to that, right? Does he really want to compete in there? Is this the best sportsmanship? Blah, 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 blah. He's a real competitor because he did this. I'll just pose it to you. What do you guys think? Are you guys happy that he continued to fight? Or do you think, that was kind of silly for him to continue fighting knowing that he needed 6 points? Or that 6 points put him in a really good position because now he's compromised. He took a strike, and he's going to have more. It's going to be a 10-8 round, but that doesn't help him in the PFL scoring system and the scoring criteria, right? That's just based off of when you get a finish or whether or not you get a finish at all. So because of that, because he's a competitor and he wants to continue, he essentially took himself out of the playoffs. Barring, if he got a finish before Kasanganay in the second round, or, Ty Flores Ty Flores missed weight. That's right. That's why he only got 5 points. And if Sanchez Sanchez could have made it if he got the finish in the second round, regardless of time, because he would have popped ahead of Flores, because Flores did not have a finish. So I just pose it to you. What do you guys think? Right? There was also 2 other fights, some I forget what they call them. We don't have to break those ones down. They don't have any implications on this season. So, in my opinion, I think the purist in me is happy that Andrew Sanchez continued to fight and wanted to compete. But I think now hear me out, okay? I'm not claiming to be the right one. I haven't had a lot of thought about this, obviously, just watching them. But I will tell you that I think the PFL scoring system If it doesn't change, that's just fine. This is with the scoring system the way it is. I think he should have just said, "I'm not continuing," because there's a chance that it's a DQ and that he goes into the playoffs because of that. He gets to keep fighting in the season. Now, you can say about sportsmanship and all this other stuff, but the other guy is the one who did something illegal, right? Taylor Johnson's the one who landed the illegal shot. That's not Andrew Sanchez's fault. If he says he can't continue. So now he's, he can hold his head up high and said he competed the way he should and he was able to go, so he kept going, and now he gets 3 points and he's sitting on the outside looking in. He can't go to the playoffs. He's going to be the alternate, right? So if one of the playoff contenders gets hurt or can't compete for whatever reason, another failed drug test, there's still a chance that he can get in. But the point is, I'm okay with him doing what he did in any other organization because, you are generally rewarded for that kind of behavior, right? The promoter will make sure he's not going to let you go. He'll let you keep fighting. He said, you're not taking the easy way out. So clearly you're a competitor, and they want to give you more opportunities to compete in their organization, and then you'll make more money with that organization in the long run by having that kind of attitude on average, right? More often than not, guys with that kind of attitude, the organization likes to keep around for longer than the guys who are like whiny and don't want to compete and have boring fights and that kind of stuff. So, and people take the easy way out, even if they're, in the top 15, they'll cut you because they don't want you stinking up their organization because they're trying to put on an entertaining product. So I would lean towards doing it the more righteous way or whatever in those organizations. But in this one, given the fact that you have an opportunity to win $1 million by taking the DQ, and it's nothing, you didn't do anything wrong. You had both knees on the ground. It was a clear illegal shot. All you have to do is say, like, no, I don't feel 100% and I don't want to continue fighting. I see no problem with that. So it sucks for him. It doesn't suck at the same time. He did get the win, but hey, he's honorable. We could say that. All right, that is it for this. If you're looking for the main card, the main event and stuff, that's in the last video. I covered the Ultimate Fighter this week. I'm going to be covering the rest of the fights for the weekend. So subscribe to the channel so you know the next videos are coming out. I hope to see you there. Let me know in the comments what you guys thought. Do you think I'm crazy thinking that he should have taken the DQ there? I don't know. Maybe I'm just thinking selfishly. But anyway, hope you all have an amazing week. Love y'all.